Do you have a UK trip coming up and you're wondering if you should rent a car? Or maybe you've booked your rental car already and you're feeling a little bit nervous about driving on the left side of the road for the first time. Well, don't worry, this video is for you. We'll share some practical advice that you can use right away. We'll even have bonus tips on how to get gas and how to navigate scary, high-pressure roundabouts. Here we go. We're Grant and Teresa Boggs. You'd normally find us exploring our new hometown of Napa, California, but we also have the travel bug. So whether we're exploring our home state, going island hopping in the Philippines, or hiking glaciers in Iceland, we're always down for a new adventure. And in this mini-series, we're exploring a place I called home for a year, the UK. Join us as we explore England and Scotland, by land, by sea, sort of, and by air. Along the way, we'll share our tips on how to make your UK vacation one you'll never forget. Let's do it. Grant and I just got back from an amazing 2-week vacation in the UK. One of the videos we posted was about navigating London without a car. Public transportation there is so good that you don't need a car. But what if you want to take a road trip and see the rest of the UK like we did? Well, we're sharing 6 tips to make your UK driving experience as stress-free as possible. And be sure to stick around until the very end, because as the song goes, we go and save the best for last. It's the tip that would have saved us a lot of time and anguish if we had known it ahead of time, so be sure to wait until that very last tip. Let's start with the basics. Tip number 1 is something you should do before you even get behind the wheel of a car in any country. It should be a no-brainer, but as we know, common sense isn't always common. So the number 1 tip that we have is to know the traffic rules. It's hard enough driving on the other side of the road if you're not used to it. Don't add the stress of wondering what lane lines mean or what the speed limit is on the highway. For example, in the US, we have dotted or solid yellow lines to indicate two-way traffic, generally. But in the UK, they use a white line even for two-way traffic. So if you're driving in the UK and you see 2 lanes divided by a white line, do not drift over to the right lane thinking it's one-way traffic. We'll link to the official UK highway government page in the description so you can read the rules for yourself, including speed limits. Moving on to tip number 2. There's no escaping roundabouts, so you might as well get comfortable. Just like anywhere else in the world, be sure to yield to cars already in the roundabout. And remember, go clockwise. And here's a bonus tip for the navigator, the person with the GPS. One trick that worked for me and Grant was that I'd look ahead on the GPS and tell Grant the ultimate direction we were supposed to go. So for example, instead of saying, take the second exit on your left, which is what the GPS might say, I would say, if this roundabout didn't exist, we'd be going straight through the intersection. Or instead of saying, take the 3rd exit, I'll say, imagine a right-hand turn. Again, that's just a little system that worked for us, especially when it was busy and things were moving quickly. Sometimes the GPS would tell us to take the exit for A4. I'd look up and there are 2 adjacent exits with signs that both say A4, followed by a long list of cities. In that split second, it was kind of hard to figure out which A4 exit the GPS was telling us to take. So experiment and find a communication method that works for you. Now we're at tip number 3. Beware of narrow roads. As you drive through more rural or less populated areas, it's pretty common for roads to be so narrow that 2 cars can't pass each other side by side safely. So be prepared to yield or pull over and let someone pass. And sometimes you'll find that the edge of the road or the shoulder has worn away, so be extra careful. A related pointer, watch out for livestock if you're driving through the countryside. When we were driving in Scotland on the Isle of Skye, we saw plenty of sheep and Highland coos ruling the road, and they weren't always fenced in. Tip number 4 is about tanking up. Here in the US, most of us are probably used to paying first and then pumping our gas. Either you pay by card at the pump or you go inside and pay the cashier. In the UK, at least in our experience, we had to pump our gas first and then go inside to pay.
Alright, so we're in Dingwall, Scotland, and stopped to fill up the car with some petrol. You see here, out this window, you actually have to press the amount of pounds that you want to put in gas-wise, and then you fill it up, and then you go in and you pay for it after. A little bit different. I had to have someone come and help me figure it out because I'm like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. And they said, oh, you're not the first American this week to come in here and try to like pay first and then fill up. And they're like, I guess in America you guys pay first before you fill up, but here in the UK you fill up first and then you pay.
Moving on to tip number 5. Download your maps ahead of time. Especially if you're driving through more remote areas, there are a lot of dead zones, so don't get stuck. Even if you've set your route ahead of time, download your maps, because if something unexpected happens and you need to reroute, you'll want to at least have access to your offline maps. Here's how you do it with Google Maps. Step number 1, open the Google Maps app on your phone. Step number 2, search for the place you want to go. In this example, it's Stonehenge. Step number 3, find the 3 little dots at the top of your screen and expand the menu. Step number 4, select Download Offline Map. Step 5, zoom out to the area that you need. And step 6, select Download. And voila, you have your offline map. And as I said, we're saving the best for last. So tip number 6 is plan your pit stops carefully. If you're driving through England, you're probably going to be fine. Just look up places called motorway service stations. Essentially, they're rest areas with food, fuel, and restrooms. Most of them are clean and very nice. You're most likely going to find these on major motorways. Now, if you're driving through Scotland, especially the Scottish Highlands, it's a little bit of a different story. Rest stops are much fewer and further between. And this is something that we wish we knew ahead of time when planning our stops. Not all gas stations have public restrooms, and even public restrooms at tourist locations have closing hours, so plan your potty breaks wisely. One painful experience we had was arriving for a hike at the ferry pools on the Isle of Skye in the late afternoon. By the time we got there, the restrooms were closed, but we thought, that's okay, no big deal, we don't really need to go right now. So we went on our hike, we enjoyed the beautiful scenery, and about halfway through the hike, waterfalls, rushing creeks, the power of suggestion. Yep, I needed to use a restroom, but it was an hour hike back to the parking lot, and even then, as I said, the public toilets were closed for the night. Pain. So we drove 45 minutes to the next town, which was halfway to our hotel for the night. The town had a gas station and a 24-hour co-op. It was a grocery store, so we thought, of course, they're gonna have a restroom for us to use. No. Miraculously, I was able to hold it for a full hour and a half from the ferry pools before reaching our hotel. So moral of the story, plan your stops. Do your research. Have a plan B. Know when facilities open and close. You don't want to get caught with your gas tank empty and your bladder full. So those are our top tips for driving in the UK. If you've driven in the UK before as a visitor, or maybe you're from there, what are your top tips? Be sure to share them in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to check out our other UK travel videos in this series. Like and subscribe so you don't miss our next video where we share some must-see locations in Scotland. We'll show you everything from beautiful castles, to the coolest shops in Edinburgh, to epic hikes on the Isle of Skye, and some pretty cool spots in between too. Cheers!